Hi guys, Ricky Pope here from the Christian Nerds Unite podcast. On the show, we dive deep into our nerdy fandoms and look at them through the lens of our faith by chatting with Christian content creators and experts who love comics, science, video games, media, sci-fi, and fantasy, discovering how their faith shapes their creative work and their lives. You can listen on your favorite podcast app or find links to everything at ChristianNerdsUnite.com.
Hey everybody, it's Lucas from the Rev and Rep podcast. I want to give you a quick disclaimer about this week's episode. The morning that we recorded with Batman executive producer Michael Uslan, our friends Isaac and Kristin Witty were here in studio with us, and we were just kind of shooting the bull with them, and we decided, you know what, this would be a great opportunity for us to record an impromptu episode. We set everything up, we get ready to record the episode. The content in it was great and amazing, and as soon as the episode's over, I realized I never plugged in their microphones. So the audio that you're getting is straight from the camera. We've doctored it a little bit so it's easier to listen to, but know that there are some audio issues. If this is your first time listening to the show, this isn't what it normally sounds like, go listen to our episode with Michael Uslan and you'll see what that's like. If you are a normal listener to the show, thanks for bearing with us. And also, we just didn't want y'all to miss out on this content. Isaac and Kristin are two of the funniest people that we know, and the stuff that they said, the conversations that we had were great. So we'll be better next week. And until then, without any further ado, Isaac and Kristin Witty.
Great Powell, host of Forged in Fire.
Kyle Mann.
I'm Jay Warner Wallace.
Kira Davis.
This is Ben Adams. Hey, this is Dave Baker.
Carrie Pomeroli.
This is Mike Reiner.
This is Ethan Nicole.
This is Liam Morgan.
This is Graham Parker, the 50GP, and this is why you should never.
How I got suckered in.
I'm so embarrassed that I'm here.
You're wasting your time. You got better things to do.
Never listen.
Those darling, yummy Reverend and the Reprobate.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Reverend and the Reprobate. My name is Lucas Pinkert. I'm an actual pastor, and here with me, as always, is a man whose mom was drunk the day she got out of prison. It's Big Dan Flip Gibson. What's going on, Dan?
She's still drunk and out of prison.
So I'm curious, how does she make the commode liquor that they make in prisons?
I don't know. I'll find out.
Yeah.
I was gonna riff. I don't know.
It's yeast?
Well, I know something of that, but it's not coming to mind right now.
Okay. Because I know
I was
you
just
have,
talking
you
to
have
someone
watched.
about
Well,
one of my friends just got out of prison, and we were talking about it, and it's not made how you think.
we need to have him on the show specifically for his commode liquor
And
recipe.
also to talk about the guards that they have,
Oh, that,
which
that,
are
that
overwhelming-
flew in monkey meat
which are
so that they could
overwhelmingly
eat it in prison.
Nigerian, supposedly,
Yeah.
and they eat exotic meats all day. And by exotic meats, it's ostrich meat and
Monkey.
zebra. I don't know if I'm being fed a line, but I don't think I am.
Well,
I don't know how that's possible.
on these sweet, clean airwaves today, we have the fabulous Witties. What's going on, Isaac and Kristin? Now, Kristin Witty.
Yeah.
The marvelous
Boy,
Miss
makes it
Kristin.
change.
The last time we had you on, you were a Weber.
Mrs. Kristin.
Does it?
This is Kristin now.
Mrs.
Yes.
Kristin.
M.R. Isaac.
Yeah,
Yep.
this is Kristin Witty.
Did it feel nice to not have to change the last initial? That like now, like all the things that were made for you, like the sweet little macrame things that Grandma made, still
Yeah,
work.
people kept saying, isn't it nice you don't have to change your monogram? And I was like, yeah, it would be if I had anything monogrammed. I think that stopped in like
Doily.
1960.
My doily, I keep on
Yeah.
all the time.
I
We were
had
given-
zero monogram things.
We were given monogram towels as a wedding present, and one of the very first things that Kirsten did, she hung them in the bathroom so that it like looked really nice, and then we had a spill, and she just needed something really quick to pick it up with, and so she grabbed one of the monogram towels and did it, and then it was discolored.
no.
It didn't match the rest, so now that they were up for like a month, and then she's like, forget it. They don't match
Those are
anymore.
for decoration.
It bothers me when things that have a purpose and a use are put up for decoration, like decorative blankets and decorative towals. I'm like, why stop
It'd be
there?
like a-
Decorative
it'd be like a
toilets.
Montana.
It's
Hold on, what kind of stuff?
Decorative. She says decorative. I didn't know that's about you.
decorative? How do we say it? Wrong.
It's big design. It's for
No, I'm just
decorative.
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 Yeah, decorative.
That's how it's
Have a
said.
decorative extension
I
cord.
think
I just learned something new about you. I didn't know you say
It's
something.
my monogram extension cord.
Are you guys? Have you guys all been saying it wrong?
I've been saying decorative, yeah.
My whole life.
Which I will say, judging by this panel, we are likely the ones who are wrong about this.
I don't know.
I don't do very many things that are decorative.
We can. Well,
I have several
arguably, I don't
collectibles.
I'm on
either.
her side. I'm right. You're wrong.
Well, being that the root word And
What works?
When you get right down to the root of it,
What works?
Has to roll. Not the root word.
the root word is decor. Therefore, decorative.
But you don't say
Thank you for coming
decorate.
to my defense.
Do you decorate your house?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Much like how you don't go to Italy, where you eat Italian food. That drives me crazy when people say Italian.
My granddad used to say that. He was like, just out of nowhere.
That's a granddad thing.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
My dad
And
says
he grew up in East Texas and had this wonderful, thick accent. And just out of nowhere, he would make these really, really broad, strong statements. So it's
Everyone clenches.
absolute silence in the living room. And he goes, you know who they made that Italian food for, don't you? I was like, Italians? And he goes, somebody else. I don't like it. End of statement. And then all back to silence as all the grandkids are like, does he not know how to say Italian? And nobody was ready to question him. So,
I've got a question.
oh boy.
When you guys got married, did the
Oh yeah, congratulations
priest
on your
say-
marriage.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you for not cursing it.
derailing?
Also,
I'm in the middle.
the man that married them was named Whit. Whit married the Whitties.
Oh,
True.
yeah.
Also, I
didn't
like
even
that
think
from
about
a
that.
What was your
literary
question?
standpoint. Did they say, "I'd like to introduce you for the first time, Mr. and Mrs. Isaac Witty"?
Yeah, I think that's what they said.
Why do we do that? I
And
don't,
we just
I don't
eliminate. Because
understand.
I gave up my identity in exchange for security.
The two are
Yeah.
about to become one flesh
Yeah, I get.
upon
Well, I get
consummation.
the last name that we're founding a new family.
Mhm.
We're one.
I
name,
don't
but
know that
why
that's
do
what we
take the
did.
first
I think it was, let's hear it for Isaac and Kristin Witty.
We need to go back and look. I honestly don't.
It has to be
We
on
have
video.
it.
There
We
was
have
so
it on
much
video.
Yeah, there's no
related
doubt.
disruption. I don't think my brain retained a lot of the
I just don't
details of
understand.
that.
I will say is
feel
the
like
guy
it's a
with the
Southern
iPad,
thing, very
I don't know.
like, traditional. We announce that it's the man who did it all.
Yeah, that's like a traditional Christian wedding ceremony.
Yeah. Why?
Because of that, they're now together under one household. It's the Isaac
Yeah,
Witty
that's still
household.
two people. I'm just.
Yeah.
I'm not shooting arrows at it. I'm just
Yeah.
asking why.
Yeah.
It's
I
it
don't
is
know.
it's kind of like what Kristin said, because there is the you become the family identity now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It
I
is
don't know
on
if it's
tape
like
somewhere.
moving house
Gotta wear the
for
turkey.
security.
It's on tape somewhere, but we have no
It's
desire
very
to
Scottish.
watch it.
Yeah.
You know,
I would like to watch it. I would like to watch
We've
it
blocked out our
for
wedding.
one reason in specific. I've got serious beef about your wedding.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's hear it.
So I was controlling the iPad for your wedding ceremony.
Mhm. Big job.
And
That's a big deal.
oh man,
That's a
it
grave
is-
honor.
I will say playing the music for somebody's wedding ceremony,
Yeah.
way more pressure than actually preaching the ceremony. I've done that hundreds of times. I'm fine with that. Push the music here because I'm waiting on other people's cues. Whit did not give me the cue
Oh.
when you guys were supposed to come down. So there's a song that appears to have misfired that I will say here and now, not my bad.
Ooh.
At
So-
what point in the
so
service?
So this is-
so
this
we need to
podcast
go
was
and
to
review.
exonerate.
Yes, to exonerate. I need this expunged from my record. I am way better.
At what point
and
in the
Mr.
service?
Weber needs to know I know how to work an iPad.
Yeah, my dad sat him down, Lucas, who's like run complicated
Yeah.
technology, sound equipment for
Let me
years.
tell you
My
something.
dad gave him a thorough workout
In
to turn
1998,
on and press
Steve
play on an
Jobs.
iPad.
Yeah, we had an iPad lesson, and he did teach me a couple of things I didn't know. So I was happy to learn.
Steve Jobs is a genius. He just
Was.
mainly talk
Was.
about Steve Jobs.
Yeah, he's posthumously a genius. Well, hey, you guys have started a new podcast called the Not So Glamorous Ministry Podcast. Yeah, talk to us about that. What's that about?
Why is
We
it
have.
not so
So
glamorous?
it's not.
The podcast is very glamorous. Ministry
Yes.
is not glamorous.
Yeah.
Yep.
As it should
The
be.
podcast is going to reach tens of people, so
Just like
it's
ours.
going to be very, very fancy.
Maybe the same time.
Yeah.
No. Definitely will after this.
Competition.
It's a very exclusive
Might have to-
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about where we interview people, not big shots in the ministry, and we ask them about their everyday life And I would like to possibly get a job in the ministry, so I think it's a good idea to interview people and ask them if I can have their job.
Oh,
It's an excellent and sneaky networking
Yeah.
strategy.
Yeah.
that way you find the people that are ready to hit the eject button like right before the job goes on the market. They're like, actually,
Like
yeah,
old
we're
school
thinking about
army.
it.
Just
I
find
think the
your-
Lord is leading us somewhere else. Where?
It's kind of like checking.
A little place called Anywhere.
It's kind of like
else.
checking the obituaries for real estate.
Yeah,
Was that
I
dark?
like it. But more like checking the cancer ward for real estate
Yeah, that was too dark.
because they're not quite dead.
Yeah.
That was
Right.
not cool.
It's like
It's more
visiting-
accurate though, but it's darker.
Yeah, it's like visiting Miracle Max and asking, "Hey, have you recently found anyone almost dead
There
that
you
we
go.
need?" Lighten the mood a little bit. You get that reference?
No,
Miracle Max,
I'm so young.
is that from?
the Princess
You'll
Bride?
know.
Oh, yeah, I know. Princess Bride. I
okay.
forgot he was called Miracle Max.
Yeah, Miracle. Yeah, Billy Crystal
Billy
was
Crystal.
Miracle Max.
Who supposedly they had a really hard time filming that whole scene with
I don't
him
know
and
that.
Gilda Radner, I believe. Was
Yeah,
Was she
I
the
know the
witch?
witch.
She was the witch?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Gilda Radner?
Oh, I didn't know that
believe
was
so.
her.
I don't think that's
We've got
right.
little
We're about to
devices
double
Fact check.
No,
But the story Phil said is
I'm
they-
pretty sure she was dead by then.
The story from the set is that they had a really hard time filming that whole scene because he was just killing everybody.
Who was Miracle Max's wife? Carol Kane.
Carol Kane. Oh, that's close enough.
Yeah, Gilda Radner and Carol Kane.
Gilda Radner was
a lot of the
by
same letters.
One female comic is just like the next. So.
As soon as she gets married, they're all the same name.
It's true.
then. That's true. Yeah.
She was just
Mrs. Gene
Mrs.
Wilder.
Miracle Max.
Mrs. Gene Wilder.
Yeah. Was Carol Kane married to Gene Wilder?
Gilda Radner was.
Yeah.
Mrs. Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah. Yeah, who was Mrs. Desi Arnaz?
Aren't all women Mrs. Gene Wilder?
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately.
Yeah.
Why?
For-
Yeah, I echo again. Why?
I love this.
Because they're, by the rationale that we were using earlier, I think, they all lose their identity.
right.
And it all leads back to
Everything leads back to Gene Wilder. All roads lead to Gene Wilder, which is good because that means that, like, vicariously, we're all adjacent to Mel Brooks.
That's very true.
Yeah, which I'm very pleased to announce we're Mel Brooks adjacent since all roads lead to Gene Wilder.
And I'm a woman who's married, so.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
You are the closest thing to
Yeah.
Mel Brooks in this room.
I've been having a love affair with Gene Wilder for 15 years.
All right. That's great.
How?
What?
I'm just following the logic. I've been married for 15 years. Never mind. We'll forget it. We'll drop it.
Right. Gotcha.
I took logic.
I just yes-handed it. And I don't
Not
know
everything
why.
works. We'll take this
Yes,
out.
ending has
We'll take
its
this out in
limits
editing.
where it works.
You will?
No.
I'm so happy that you're gonna edit this one. Yeah. Where are the limits of yes and?
That Gene Wilder, I think. we
Gene
just
Wilder.
Found
Okay.
them. What are the yes and limits?
That's-
You're a real
there's
yes and
location.
guy. 'Cause
You
when we
are.
were dating. You said something. I was like no, and then you were like,
You're not gonna
didn't
yes
yes and
and.
me. I was like, oh, yeah.
I take it as a personal.
Yeah.
If I say something that I think is funny and I set someone up and they go, I'm not going to do that, I take personal offense to it.
I do too.
Yeah, he really.
I do too. I get upset.
Or if they derail my joke and they take it a different direction, I'm like,
How have you?
That
found
is his specialty.
lame.
That is all he
Lame.
wants to do
Yeah, I
is
know.
to derail things.
I listened to our podcast earlier.
Oh, if you guys all want to talk about that, let's do this.
Yeah.
This is what's on my mind.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. We have been doing this segment with you guys know Camden, our sweet young Camden, our intern,
Yeah.
who we are making watch the Star Wars movies and then give us reviews of them every week. So this one week, Camden is giving us an explanation about a character and a plot line in Star Wars, and Danley's like, "Yeah, I want to talk about Darth Maul. We need to talk about this." And Camden looks at him. Camden looks at him and he goes, "Let me finish." And then and that's it.
How much candy had I eaten in that episode? Because I have had an unhealthy relationship with Gene Wilder and candy.
And that makes you interrupt people with trails?
Sugar does. Gene Wilder does.
Yeah.
That's actually the thing that we've said the most about Gene Wilder there that makes sense, incorporating him with candy.
Yeah, I think so, for sure.
Yeah.
Because of
Yes,
Willy
it is.
Wonka.
Mhm.
Saying,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
And the Saul's over here.
Start blowing up like a blueberry.
Yeah, so why have you...
It wasn't? Oh,
No,
no, she's
that-
the one that demanded
She's
it.
the bad egg.
Yeah, Violet was the one that blew up like a blueberry.
But you're dressed like Violet right now.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
Thank you for
are
noticing. That's what I was
Mr.
going
Beauregard.
for.
Talk to us about your recently, how do we want to say it? It needs to be said in a way that's classy
I like the start of
and
this.
that is respectful. Your recent parting of ways with sugar.
I just stopped eating sugar
Why, Dan?
because I was getting fat. And it wasn't looking good
Is
on
that
the test
why-
results.
Is that why you declared a fatwa on sugar?
Yes. That's why I'm saying it from now on.
This is fatwa?
Yep.
What have you learned about fatwa this week that you...
I assumed that we're just going to talk about it. In the Islamic world, which is where the word comes from, that was, if someone said something that was deemed inappropriate, you're just going to scoot over away from me a little bit.
No, our chairs were making a squeaky sound.
If someone said
Sure,
something
we're getting married.
of ill repute.
That's the
There we go.
appropriate.
There we go.
Thank you, Mrs.
Kristen and I are now the same height.
Just wanted
All I
to make
knew
sure
about
you
it
guys
is-
all feel confident and dominant. So,
Yeah.
I do feel that.
Yep.
But yeah, you quit eating sugar.
how does it feel to have your story interrupted 14 times?
Not good, actually. I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, it's not
I
fun.
don't appreciate it, and I would like it to stop.
Yes, and what else would you like?
Sugar. But I assumed, based off of history,
Mhm.
that when someone has a fatwa put on them, it's like a death threat, a death hit
Yeah.
put on them. That's not the definition of a fatwa. It's like a formal interpretation,
Yeah.
which some people take pretty seriously.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I wasn't prepared to talk about fatwas today, other than that I have a fatwa on sugar.
Yeah. Which I...
What?
A fatwa on sugar. Yeah. Which I like.
Yeah.
I think... So we need to know, Kristen.
Mhm.
Danley and I are going to try to get abs by Christmas of 2025.
Yeah.
Does you think that Isaac should be in on our pact to have abs by Christmas of 2025?
Can he
Someone
choose his own?
Is this?
No, I'm just asking whether
As
or
the
not
man in the
Kristen...
relationship, he's
Yeah.
going to take this one. Please speak on behalf of me.
Yeah, Mrs.
I'll speak about her abs too.
Oh, the two of us.
I want distance from that.
I have nice abs.
Thank you.
No, well, I have no problem. The only problem I have with working out with you guys
Good
is the
save.
distance
Yeah.
of.
We live relatively close.
Yeah, we live real. Yeah, that's true. How far away is this gym from me, though?
It's kind of in between where
Oh,
we
well,
live.
then that's perfect.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think it's realistic that you will.
Correct.
Do you
Yeah,
think it's
it's
realistic that he's going to work out with us, or you don't think it's realistic for him to get abs? Ooh.
One, therefore, two.
Oh.
It's challenge. I just now took my glove off and I slapped you in the face. Fatwa.
And you can do that. 'cause he's good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't have good abs, and so it hurt.
Yeah.
But
Hurt
You
your
got
face.
slapped and your core just like completely loosened up.
Except I hit you in the belly with my glove.
do you want abs, or would you prefer another enhancement?
I'm gonna take that the way that you meant it. I would probably want to be toned more than muscle. Does that make sense?
I think aren't they the same thing?
Well,
Because
No.
toning requires muscle.
He's
Yes.
talking about bulk.
You don't wanna be
muscle.
bulky.
I don't want bulk.
See, I want bulk. That's what I want.
I want
with
slender
abs. That would
knees.
be my enhancement.
You want to be.
I want to be a beanpole.
you want to be
You wanna be
slender
a
and
toned
toned. But that does.
beanpole.
But that does tone mean
You want Michael Phelps.
at least
Yeah.
some abs.
Yeah.
Michael
I want-
Phelps has abs.
I want Thor.
But you can be
Which Thor?
You can have abs and still be a beanpole. Beanpole abs.
Yeah, you can have beanpole
I want
abs.
people to see me and be like, look at
I
that
want
bean
Thor.
pole.
I'm not gonna be
Thor
able
the
to get
Dark
your shirts
World.
at Costco.
What Thor?
I want bro Thor. I want Thor from the beginning of Infinity War.
Fat Thor.
Yeah, where you look at it, you're like, you know what? That's not fat. That's a power belly.
He's eating a lot of sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, and was playing a lot of video games with Cork and
drinking beer and eating white flour.
We've just lost our guests. We asked
Yeah,
Isaac.
it's zoned out.
We asked Isaac prior to you guys coming on the show. What's the thing you have the least interest in talking about? And he says Batman. And I was like, maybe that's our topic for today, is superheroes. And we got there because we can't avoid it.
Huh.
So you don't want muscles. I mean, you want muscles enough to be toned. You don't want to be bulky.
Right. I don't look
Why?
at people with giant muscles and go, oh, I wish I could have that. I more look at,
You don't want to be Brock Lesnar.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll see like a very slender guy jogging by me, and it looks like he's so effortlessly jogging, and I go, that's the type of body that I would want.
Like Ezra Miller from
You
The
wanna-
Flash.
You want to be able to be a lot more.
I don't want anything from that guy.
I don't want anything from them yet.
Yeah, I don't want anything from them.
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah.
So
what body type would you want?
One Arnold Schwarzenegger. One of my favorite Arnold quotes of all time is somebody came up to him and they were like, "I would never want to look like you," and he goes, "Good, you never will." And I do think that there's something to that though. Like I don't want the Brock Lesnar body type. There was 30 years of Brock Lesnar, in particular with him, because he was the original tag team partner for a friend of ours that we worked with in ministry, a guy named Ron Waterman, who's a UFC pride fighting champ. The guy's an absolute monster. But Brock Lesnar and his brothers would go to the barn that they lived at in Minnesota every morning, and before they started their chores when it was dark outside, they would have pull-up competitions. And so you got like years of pull-up competitions before you ever get to like he started
Steroids.
wrestling and before he ever chewed a steroid. Yeah. So I think with like a body type like Brock Lesnar, I understand like that's kind of what we put up as like the muscly build, but I also think that I don't know.
It's not realistic.
Yeah, it's unrealistic for like such a large percentage of.
You know what I thought was really interesting, because I'm a Vikings fan.
Yes.
That I remember.
Which is my joke earlier.
I remember years ago, Brock Lesnar tried out for the Vikings as a lineman.
Yeah, when
and even though he's this gigantic guy, she doesn't know, but he's huge.
I brought him up. Wait,
Oh, really?
Yes, she brought it up.
I
Yeah,
she knows that you know. Okay, I barely know who he is.
Yeah. She's got that sword and skull tattoo right here on her arm.
He tried out for the Vikings and he couldn't make the team. Even he was the first one cut that year.
Yep.
So
I wonder why. Too slow?
too slow, I bet.
Yeah. Yeah, power.
Doesn't have a nose for the ball. Talking ball here. Real ball guy.
Do you miss Mike
Special
Zimmer?
teams.
I do. I like Mike Zimmer.
I like Mike Zimmer too.
Yeah.
He was a former Cowboys defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's right. When he was with our team, he was
The
so.
Cowboys is a football.
Okay, I thought that was like in Fort Worth, where they do the cattle drive.
It is too.
Yeah.
There are men
I was
that
like,
drive
why are we
cattle.
talking
Yeah,
about?
the men that drive cattle. The difference between the
I've
football
never seen
team
them
and
throw
the
a
men.
ball when
Yeah.
they were herding the longhorns. Though.
The men that drive cattle in Fort Worth experience large amounts of success, which really delineates them from the professional sports team in Arlington, who experiences no success
Gotcha.
in my wife's lifetime.
I gotcha.
I know.
I did.
Yeah, right. The Cowboys have sucked my wife's entire life. I was like, well, if you'd have been born 2 years earlier,
Who hasn't?
Super Bowl.
Vikings.
You guys wanna hear my
have
football
always been
story?
good.
Yes.
What about
My football story, you've heard it. I don't know if you guys have. I
haven't.
sat 2 years ago on the Super Bowl. Actually, I think I was flying in for that Valentine's show that I did
Oh,
at
yeah. You're welcome.
your church.
Yeah.
So it was a Super Bowl Sunday. I was flying and I sat next to a former Denver Broncos, I want to say linebacker. Mackenzie Tillman was his name. You can look him up. But
There was a boy named Mackenzie.
yeah, it was. So he was watching the Super Bowl and his TV cut out, and like he's a big dude, and so I was like, he was visibly distraught. So I was like, it's okay. And he's like, no, you don't understand. He goes, my friends are playing on that team, and I was like, oh, clearly he wants to talk about this. If you start a sentence with like, my friends are on that team, that's a leading question. So I was like, did you play? And he had his Super Bowl rings on, and so we talked and watched the Super Bowl together, and the experience was completely wasted on me because I don't follow football at all. And he was talking loud, and so everybody, all the seats around were like leaning in, and I got to talk to him.
Now, did he win the Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos?
When I think so, yeah. When I look up Mackenzie Tillman, it says Mackenzie Tillman 2022-2021 women's basketball.
That is not the right Mackenzie Tillman.
You don't think so?
Nope.
You don't think she's a senior guard in? I'm about to dox.
I think that is a
Little
Mackenzie
Rock,
Tillman.
Arkansas.
That's not doxing.
So
Hey, did you guys hear about how Putin got a Super Bowl ring?
excuse me,
No.
please.
So I believe it was from Robert Kraft. They were in Russia, and Putin said, give me that ring. I want to see it.
When you look him up.
And
Is it a
he
picture
gave
of
him
you?
the Super Bowl ring. Wait, you're
When you look at Mackenzie Tillman, she's one of the first images that pops up.
Possible.
And him on an
Wow.
airplane.
Look at that.
Yeah.
You're Mel Brooks
How does
and
that
Mackenzie
happen?
Tillman adjacent.
2004 was when he played. So defensive tackle.
Did he know that he met Mrs. Gene Wilder?
How does that come up?
That would be beforehand. But anyways, Putin just took the Super Bowl ring. They didn't get it back. But so now he has a Super Bowl ring.
I wouldn't ask.
You just took Robert Kraft's Super Bowl ring?
Yep.
Yeah.
And what do you
Why
do?
was Robert Kraft in Russia?
I don't know. Partying?
He was trying to escape the massage therapist litigation he was alleged for.
But what do you do?
We have to leave for lunch soon, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, you guys are going to lunch with some of your
My
friends.
Aspire.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this like, all right, I've already married him, but you got to meet my friends kind of lunch? Or is this no, I want to hang out with these people kind of lunch?
This is we want to hang out.
We want to hang
Yeah.
out with them.
They're
All right.
You'll have already hung out with them by the time that this
they
gets
were at our
aired.
wedding.
All right. And cut. What do you really think?
We don't want to go. I want
We gotta drive 45 minutes to meet these jokers. It's like when I go and visit my in-laws who don't listen to this podcast, and neither does my wife. So,
Yeah.
well, we're gonna be an hour in the car. My wife has this
Yeah, I've
rule.
gone away with some real stinkers.
Yeah, but does your wife have travel rules, Isaac Witty and Dan Gibson?
I don't know.
My wife has travel rules. That like if we're going, we need to stay twice as long at a place as it takes us to get there, right? So if we're gonna go visit her parents who are an hour away, we've got an hour there and an hour back. We need a 4-hour visit
Oh.
in order to get.
I don't like being
Makes
confined by any
sense.
rules, but that's not a terrible statement.
Yeah, it's not terrible. Also, for you not to want to be confined by any rules, your she-wife has a lot of rules that you are
I
confined
don't
by.
follow them.
Whatever.
Name one.
Dan, come home, get off the phone with Lucas,
No, but I'm already home and I'm already on the phone with
and
him.
then you're off the phone with me because you're following the rules.
I'd like to get off the phone. That's what I'm doing.
Sure. At this point, since you've been married to Gene Wilder, or you've been, what did he say? He's had a love affair with Gene Wilder for 15 years. Now you just think it's your idea.
I mean, truth be told, I've had a love affair with Gene Wilder for a lot longer.
Yeah.
His movies are fantastic.
because
In
of
real
the
world.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
A myriad of others. All of
it
his
was a
movies
scene
with
we were
Richard
here.
Pryor.
I'm trying to remember what it was with him and
Richard Pryor.
Yeah,
Richard Pryor.
Pryor.
I'm like,
Oh,
also
Stir Crazy.
moving.
Stir Crazy.
that.
Yeah, they did like 3 or 4 movies together. They were geniuses.
They have to go
those
to
two.
lunch.
All right. Well, the Witties have to go to lunch.
We should
which means
probably
we're
get
out.
some lunch.
Make sure that you check out the Not So Glamorous Ministry
Yeah.
podcast, which will be coming out on a podcasting app and a YouTube
4
series.
years.
Yeah.
When I
They
finished learning.
they interviewed me, asked me one question, and talked for an hour.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
Not surprised.
Tell our audience where it is that they can find you if they want to follow more.
And you wonder why I
Oh,
have to
yeah.
edit.
Comedy.com.
Yeah, and you can find all our social media from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wittycomedy.com.
All right. Check out all that stuff in the show notes. You guys stay hard, keep jamming, and we'll see ya.